Welcome to our first talk entitled Google Classroom for Education. My name is Henry from De La Salle Santiago Zubel School and currently the Executive President of the Networked Learning PH Incorporated. For today's session, I will teach you how to create your virtual classroom using Google Classroom. So, what is a Google Classroom? It is a blended learning platform, or other people call it as a learning management system, that aims to simplify creating, distributing, and grading assignments in a paperless way. You may access Google Classroom via web browser or through your MLD or mobile learning device. For web browser users, kindly go to the projected URL on your screen. So it is www.classroom.google.com. For our mobile learning device users, kindly download the Google Classroom app through the App Store or Google Play Store for free. Now, after accessing the app, you are required to submit your Google Mail. Just a reminder, some Gmail accounts, especially those under your school or university, can't be accessed in the Google Classroom. If this is the case, just use your personal Gmail account. Or you may also discuss the matter with your IT experts. After signing in using your Gmail account, Google Classroom will instantly create your virtual classroom. In my case, for example, since I have previous virtual classes, you can see my previous classes on your screen. But for first-time users like you will see a blank virtual classroom. As a teacher, you will click the plus sign and choose Create Class. On the other hand, your students will click Join Class to be part of your virtual classroom. At this point, you need to accomplish the needed information projected on your screen. Fill out the class name. For example, in my case, it's Komunikasyon at Pananaliksik sa Wika at Kulturang Pilipino. Section, in my case, it's 11A. Subject, for my virtual class, it's Filipino. And room assignment. And in my case, right now, our Filipino class is an online class. Then click Create. Please take note that you need to create one Google Classroom per section to avoid possible challenges. After submitting all the needed information, Google Classroom will instantly prepare your virtual classroom. So this is a sample of a Google Classroom. Now, you may be asking, how can I add my students in our Google Classroom? Allow me to give you the walkthrough on how to add your students in your respective Google Classrooms. You may add your students in two simple ways. Number one, click People and copy the class code. You may share this unique code through your group chat, email, or other possible means. During a regular classroom setup, You may also write this on the board. Number 2, you may also add your students manually. Again, just click People and look for the Add Student icon. After clicking the Add Student icon, you may now manually encode the email addresses of your students. Just a reminder, you are highly encouraged to use your school emails. But if this condition is not applicable, you may use your personal emails. Now, how about your co-teachers? Can you add them as collaborator? Absolutely. One of the best features of Google Classroom is your option to add collaborators on your virtual classroom. Just follow these simple steps. First, again, just click People and look for the Invite Teacher icon. After clicking the Invite Teacher icon, you can now encode the email address of your collaborator. Now, let's talk about the main features of Google Classroom. First, Stream. The Stream is the social hub of Google Classroom. This is where announcements can be made by the teacher. Students, if enabled, are able to share resources or ask questions. Any assignments created on the Classwork tab are announced on the stream. The teacher can share the syllabus, course outline, or other reading materials through Stream. Number 2, the teacher can also post reminders for the students in Stream. Third, the teacher can also post open-ended questions for free-flowing discussions. Our second feature is the Classwork. The Classwork page allows teachers to organize assignments into modules and units. Other new features include the ability to copy and reuse previous classwork with other classes, a streamlined settings page, and an option to turn off all notifications if you're not the lead teacher in a class. If you want to create a post on your Classwork page, just follow these steps. First, click Classwork. Second, look at the plus create icon and click it. Next, you need to choose a category. Generally, this feature offers 5 types of classworks. What is the difference between these types of classworks? In assignment points, or rather in assignment, points are awarded. This is good for final assignment with manual marking and use of rubric. On the other hand, in quiz assignment, points are also awarded, but ideally, this is good for automatic marking and grading. The third type, labeled as question, has no points awarded. Good for single question, quick survey, short answer, and multiple choice type of assessment. The fourth type, called as material, has no points and good for reading assignment or lesson preparations only. Lastly, the reuse post feature gives the teacher the ability to copy and reuse previous classwork with other classes. At this point, you are now ready to create your classwork. To start with, you are expected to encode the title of the classwork. Second, you need to encode the instructions needed by the students in performing the respective classwork. Just a friendly reminder, consider your students. Compose your instructions as if you are talking to them in person. You can add a file to supplement the classwork. You can add through your Google Drive, copy paste a link from the web, attach a file from your computer, and insert videos directly from YouTube. You can also create a template activity to assist your students. Just prepare the activity through Google Docs, Google Sheets, Drawings, or Google Forms. You can also set the equivalent points of your classwork. You may also opt to make the formative activities ungraded. You can also train your students by setting a deadline. In this feature, you can set the date and time of the submission. Classwork can also help you organize your virtual classroom. You can organize the students' classwork by topic. You can also evaluate your students' output using a rubric. You may create an original rubric, or you may use an existing rubric through the reuse post feature of the classwork. You can also import pre-made rubric from a Google Sheet file. Just a reminder, when preparing a rubric, you need to prepare the following details. First, the title of the criterion. Second, the description of the criterion. Third, the point equivalent. Next is the level title. And lastly, the description of the level. Here is an example of a rubric used in a Filipino online class. Finally, the third and last main feature of Google Classroom is the grades. This feature is mainly for grading setup. You can also organize classwork with grade categories such as essays, homework, and tests. For example, if your class has 4 essay assignments, you can organize them in an essay category. Adding grading systems and creating grade categories is only available on the web version of Classroom. This is an example of an online grading sheet via Google Classroom. Scores are arranged alphabetically, and you may sort by last or first name. You can also get the class average instantly. Scores are arranged in a column per activity. You can also determine whether the student submitted his classwork late or on time. For ungraded classworks, you can monitor who turned in and who did not. Now, let's talk about the other features of Google Classroom. I mentioned a while ago that you can share your class code via People tab. But there is an easier way to get that code. On the Stream section, you can see the unique code of your Google Classroom. Google Classroom has many built-in ways to communicate with your students. This includes emailing student or guardians, creating posts, questions, assignments, and quizzes. You can link to any page on the web, and you can upload any file to share information. But one thing that Google integrated into Classroom is Google Meet for teacher-led instruction. With Google Meet, you can start class video meetings in Classroom. Meet, Google Calendar, and Gmail on your computer or mobile devices. Just click the General Meet link of the stream and you will get your meeting code instantly. Calendar of classwork due dates are also found on the stream page. Students will be reminded of their tasks and deadlines. Lastly, you have a control over the design or theme of your virtual classroom. You can select from the available designs of Google Classroom, or you can upload your own photo. Now is the time to create your own virtual learning environment. For more educational videos and updates, follow my social media accounts.